Simchas Torah is a very mysterious Yom Tov. What is the reason why Simchas Torah follows Sukkos? What's the connection between Sukkos and all the Yomim Noraim and all the Yomim Tovim that we've been having and the Yom Tov of Simchas Torah? There's an unbelievable Medrash. Medrash Rabbah. The Medrash tells us that when Klal Yisrael left Mitzrayim, they turned to Moshe Rabbeinu and said, Moshe Rabbeinu, let's go back to Mitzrayim. We've seen so many miracles. The Rabbeinu Shalom promised us so much wealth, so much money. Let's go back to Mitzrayim. What a strange thing. Why would Klal Yisrael want to go back to a place that they suffered so much at that place? Explains the Shem Mishmor. He says an amazing thing. He says, you know what Klal Yisrael felt? Klal Yisrael understood that there had to be 400 years in Golus. There had to be 400 years that were in slavery. But they had to leave early, because otherwise they were going to lose their identity. So therefore, Klal Yisrael made the calculation. If we have to fulfill and make up that time that we left early, let's go now. Because you know why? We've seen so many miracles. We've seen Kriyas Yamsuf. We've seen the unbelievable Esa Makkos, the 10 Makkos that were in Mitzrayim. We're on a high. We're ready to go back. We're ready to experience Mitzrayim on a different level. Let's go back now. Moshe Rabbeinu understood otherwise. Moshe Rabbeinu said, no. Now is not the time. You know why? Because we haven't had the Torah. The Rabbeinu Shalom hasn't given us the Torah. Therefore, that which we have experienced hasn't been concrete, hasn't been cemented in. Says the Shem Mishmor. The same thing happens to us. We get on a high, we're on a spiritual high. We've had an Elul, a Rosh Hashanah, a Aseret Tshuva, a Yom Kippurim. We've got a Sukkos. We left our homes, we went into the Sukkah Daled Minim, everything that represented. We're on a spiritual high. We're ready to accomplish the rest of the year. We're ready to do everything that we need to do. The Rebbeinu Shalom says, hold on a minute. Just one more day. We need a Simchas Torah. There needs to be a dedication to Torah. A person has to realize what Torah is and what it does to his life. In May 1962, Adolf Eichmann was executed in a top secret procedure by the Israeli army. And the executioner of Adolf Eichmann was kept top secret until about 30 years later, when he eventually retired. Now when he retired, they found out who it was. It was a Sephardi Yid from Yid who was sitting and learning Torah. Now German TV tracked him down and they said, we'd like to interview you. We'd like to talk about your experience of executing one of the most wanted men in the world. So he said, sure, no problem. One condition. The interview has to take place in my kollel, in the Beis Medrash, while people are learning. And the producer of the interview was strange. Why? Why can't we do it in the luxury of a fancy, quiet, luxurious studio? So he said, I'll tell you why. Because I want to show the Nazis, I want to show anyone that was against the Torah, we still have the Torah. We're still learning the Torah all these years later. And that's what Simchas Torah is. It's that reconnection to everything that Torah represents. The Heilige Chedusha Arim, the Ger Rebbe, once remarked to someone on Simchas Torah, he was watching two men dancing with excitement. And he said, look, one of them's going to stop early, the other one's going to keep on going. And they watched and they saw that it was taka true. And they said, Rebbe, how did you know? He said, I'll tell you why. Because one of them was dancing for the Torah that he had learned last year, which was a nice amount, and therefore that has a limit, and he stopped. The other one was dancing for the Torah that he's going to learn. The Kabbalah, the acceptance that he took upon himself to learn Torah, to become connected to Torah. That doesn't have a gvul, that doesn't have a boundary. That's endless. This Simchas Torah, let's make a dedication. Let's turn to the Rabbeinu Shalom. Rabbeinu Shalom, we want your Torah. We understand that your Torah is the only thing that keeps us going. When we make that dedication, then the Rabbeinu Shalom will give us the Siyat Dishmaya to go through the entire year with that dedication. Have a beautiful Yom Tov.